Coming to you from the Stream.tv studios in Hollywood, California, Pensado's Place is brought to you by Vintage King, Avid, Recording Connection, and the Blackbird Academy.
We've got an EDM pioneer, a great little piece on the Blackbird Flyaway winners. We've got a brand new ITL. We're going to give you 3 more names from the Recording Connection. We are packed full. You're at the place, baby. It's Pensado's Place.
Man, I can't wait to get this circus going. This is going to be a fun show, right, Herbert?
Absolutely, absolutely.
How's your week?
It was good. It was good. You know, we got a lot going on.
Yeah.
We have our fingers crossed.
We had a lot going on 3 years ago. This is a whole different concept.
It's another level. Exactly. Well, let's talk about it a little bit. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Hey, audio family, hope your week was all good. And if it wasn't, make this upcoming one better. Moving along nicely on our likes and subscribes. We so appreciate it. You guys are killers. And as we always say, the more you like and subscribe, the more we can do for you. Big thanks from Dave and I for that.
Absolutely.
I think tomorrow, actually, we're seeing 2 of our sponsors at Vintage King LA. Both Avid and Vintage King will be in the house. Avid is rolling out their new console, and
that too.
Vintage King, exactly. And Vintage King is the dealer of the year for them. So Avid's hosting them.
Neat.
We're gonna put our heads in there. Proud of both you guys for really aiming high and achieving. And we'll roll down and say hello to you. The Blackbird Flyaway winners were in Nashville last week. Took the tour, hung out with John McBride. Met Garth Brooks. Apparently Hunter Hayes was around there as well, too. So we shot a little piece. Check this little piece out.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Spitfire Willis from Pensado's Place here in beautiful Studio F at Blackbird Studios and the Blackbird Academy with my 5 new friends, the winners from the Blackbird Academy Pensado's Place sweepstakes. Welcome to Nashville, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So I know everyone at home wants to get to know you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Hoffman and I'm from Boca Raton, Florida.
I'm Nate Young from Provo, Utah.
Hi, I'm Justin Taylor. I'm actually from Searcy, Arkansas, originally from Saginaw, Michigan.
I'm Eric Rule. I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Casey Vaughn. I'm from Searcy, Arkansas.
So I spoke with Herb and Dave this morning, and they are dying to hear about your experience on the tour here. Now, John McBride has given them the tour as well, so they've had plenty of wow moments on their own, but they're really wanting to know what your wow moments were. I mean, you got to see incredible gear, beautiful studios, meet some cool people. Let's hear about it. Let's start with you.
Sure. To me, my wow moment was in Studio A seeing the Neve console.
Yes.
The 8078. That was amazing. There's not too many of those in the world. And it was amazing to see that and all the gear that they have in A and the studio room. And it was just amazing. And I'll never forget it.
Very cool.
I would definitely have to say, of all things, it's a great facility, but my favorite part of the entire tour was we walked into Studio H and John walked in. He goes, I'm not sure if anybody's in here right now, but we'll go in and I'll just show it to you anyway. And in the kitchen area, there was some, it looked like leftover Chinese. And as we kind of walked around the corner, he was showing us the gear. Somebody walked in the door and he's like, oh, hey, Hunter. And we didn't think anything of it, thinking it was just an intern or something. And I turned around and Hunter Hayes was sitting right there. And he came in real down to earth, wasn't upset that we were in there or anything, was real eager to kind of meet everybody. And it was just a wow moment that somebody of that caliber was so down to earth. And they were in this facility. So it's just a big reminder that this is not only is it the Blackbird Academy where you can come and you can learn hands-on, but you get that interaction with people who have put in the work and the time that have that experience. So it's just a wow moment that these people genuinely do use these studios.
Sure, for sure. What about you?
My first wow moment was definitely hearing in the surround studio, hearing Michael Jackson's Thriller surround mix, which has never been released. And now that he's passed and he's a legend, obviously, that was just an amazing moment to be in that beautiful studio and hear that awesome mix and be sitting right in the sweet spot and just be surrounded by the awesome sound and hear something that nobody else can really hear. So that was pretty amazing.
And I noticed that John turned the light off for you guys to listen, and I'm like, that's just so we don't see the but I wanted to see that. it was an amazing, for sure it was an amazing experience.
To capture the real wow moment, huh?
Right, I was hoping to get that, but you guys were sitting in the dark. I could see someone's hat. Yes, but it was an amazing experience. So what about you?
Mine would also have to be Studio C, which is the surround studio. But the thing that really like blew me away was just seeing all the diffusers on the wall, and like on the ceiling there were like diffusers within diffusers within diffusers, and it was just like unbelievable. And then on the walls there's like 100,000 pounds of wood, is what John said. Just incredible, just mind-blowing that it's even there, and it was just one of the most beautiful studios I've ever seen.
I agree.
I feel lucky just to have been able to step foot in there. It was awesome.
What about you?
My wow moment was definitely Studio D. Just getting to see all the vintage gear hanging on the wall. The 56 Strat he had in there was just like the most vintage guitar I've ever seen in my life. That's like the one guitar I want to own in my life. And I'm also a big fan of Kings of Leon, so I really liked seeing that studio because that's where they recorded their Use Somebody record and all those songs. And so that was really cool getting to see all that, where somebody of that stature has actually recorded.
I'm Nate Young from Provo, Utah. I just want to say thank you to Pensado's Place and a huge thanks to the Blackbird Academy for this awesome trip. It's been amazing. So today we actually toured the live facility and got to meet Garth Brooks, and he was there and they introduced us, and he was super down to earth and awesome to talk to and gave us great advice, and we were able to talk to him for 10 minutes or so and just get his take on the music industry and how to get started. And the amazing thing about being here is just the environment and how many opportunities you have to get great advice from people who do this for a living day in and day out.
Hi, I'm Justin Taylor. I'm actually from Searcy, Arkansas, originally from Saginaw, Michigan. Definitely wanted to give a big thanks to John McBride, also to Dave Pensado and Herb for this opportunity. It's not only opened my eyes a little bit more to the professional side of the business and all the time and the effort and just the camaraderie that goes into making a record on a professional level. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that we got enlightened to, and it does just kind of open your eyes and make you realize that this is a career path that you could do, and I'm really, really thankful for all the things that they've been able to kind of enlighten me on. So I would like to thank everybody, especially to John himself, for taking time out of his busy schedule to show us around the place. It really did mean a lot.
I'm Eric Rule. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and I just wanted to give a big thank you to Pensado's Place and everyone here at the Blackbird Academy and Blackbird Studios. You guys have all been awesome and so welcoming and accommodating since I've been here, and it was just great to experience something so magical. I mean, there's so much amazing gear here and just so many amazing people. And I also wanted to thank John and Karma, both of you guys. Karma has been great because she's just been driving us around and picking us up places, and she's just been so nice. She took us out to dinner the first night. And then I wanted to give a thank you to John, because you've just been so positive and so inspiring, and just seeing you in your element doing what you love doing has just made me want to do this even more. So thank you.
I'm Casey Vaughn. I'm from Searcy, Arkansas. I would really like to thank John McBride, Blackbird Studios, and the Blackbird Academy for having all of us come in and take the tour and everything. It was really inspiring getting to see all of the gear and everything that he has here and all the work that he's done here. It was really cool, and it's once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Hello, my name is Kevin Hoffman, and I'm from Boca Raton, Florida. I'd just like to thank everybody at the Blackbird Academy and Pensado's Place for allowing us to come to this great studio at Blackbird and their facilities. We've met so many great people. Today we met Garth Brooks at the live facility, which was amazing. He gave us a lot of great advice, a lot of things that we can use for the future, and he's a really inspirational guy. And the other day we met Hunter Hayes just walking through the halls, and I didn't even know it was him until somebody mentioned his name. So you can meet anybody here, which is amazing. And yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone who was involved, and John McBride for giving us the tour of the studios. It was amazing, something I'll never forget. And I just want to thank everyone involved.
Back to you, Herb and Dave.
We're at the place.
Pensado's Place.
Herb and Dave, back to you.
So how cool is that? As a little tease, I'm telling you right now, the next campaign from Pensado's Place and the Blackbird Academy is going to focus not only on education, but a high likelihood of jobs and how to get hired. It's a little bit down the road. We're putting it together now, but I'm telling you, it's going to be sweet, right?
I can't wait.
Yeah, we've
I
talked
can't wait
about
to
it.
win one of these things.
Always thanks to John and Karma and Team Blackbird for being really smart and thoughtful about how to educate and also how to get folks working. Their commitment to excellence really is second to none. Furthering our 2014 education theme, the response to the Recording Connection apprentice stuff has been just phenomenal. Kudos to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
This is education where you live, mentor to mentee. We got some winners. Dave, you got some winners for us?
Minty, isn't that one of those animals down in Florida that you run over with a speedboat?
That would be a manatee.
So congratulations, Devin Helmer.
All right.
William Cerici, if your name is pronounced like Avicii. If not, I apologize. And then Brian Zadell.
Congratulations to you guys.
Very cool.
Enjoy. The crowd is giving you
much
applause. And it ain't over. You still have time to enter. Get to pensadosplace.tv/recording connection. That's the spot. Put in your email and you are good. Once the winners are picked, the Recording Connection team will get in touch with you. Make sure you're a serious candidate, and then it's on and popping. So that's all you got to do. pensadosplace.tv/recording connection. Get there, put in your information. Thumbs up to Jimmy and Brian for making this possible. Very, very good. On the Pensado Awards, well, actually, we kind of have our fingers crossed because after this show, we're going to find out if we got the place we've been coveting. I feel very positive about that. Once we secure that location, which is a killer spot, we're going to give you plenty of time to plan your travel if you want to attend. We certainly want to see you. We appreciate your patience. We wanted to get it right, not fast, but it's coming together. Cool part is we continue to hear from all those cause warriors and pros and amateurs who think it's high time to celebrate the barely celebrated. We're hearing from more and more folks in the international space, and we're seeing some incredibly gifted creatives who want to spend time with you and plant the audio flag. It's a cool thing, right?
I think it's a great thing.
It's interesting, the reaction.
I'm a little jealous.
Well, it says Pensado.
But I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, if I had had this when I was starting out, I could have been somebody.
Well, that's the legacy you're going to leave. How about that?
Man, I don't understand that.
That's my
I'll take
job.
your word for it.
So get to the waterhole to talk with Will. Fundanything.com/Pensado. That's the place. Fundanything.com/Pensado. We thank you so much for that. We thank you for your patience. Stuff coming. So, David, why don't you introduce the ITL?
This week I'm going to share with you something I ran across recently that I think is going to help you widen your guitars a little bit. As always, send me something that you've done. You guys are behind. When you're working with sounds, you don't always have to put something on the entire sound. You can select a portion of that sound, certain frequencies, and only affect those. So don't always think about putting an effect on the entire frequency range. Sometimes you might want to put chorus just on the top end. Sometimes you might want to put just the low end in mono. So in keeping with that, I'm going to show you some guitars from my friend Flavio. Really cool song, really cool sounds. By the way, Jason Joshua mentioned this technique on bass on his last appearance on Pensado's Place. But what I'm going to show you is how to take just a certain frequency that we select on the guitar itself and only make that frequency wide. So rather than making the entire guitar wide, we're going to make just one frequency. Let me show you the guitar sound. Here we go. Okay, here's the 160 on the guitar, one of my favorites. I love this plugin. little bit of EQ. You know what's funny? Sometimes a month later, you do the before and after on your EQ, and you thought you were changing music, and it doesn't really sound that drastic. That's kind of cool. And then a little bit of jalapeno, sriracha sauce, or however the heck you say that sauce. You hear the word glue tossed around with compressors. That's kind of what this is doing. This is just a brick wall limiter. Now I'm sending these 4 yellow guitar tracks into this aux right here. Something cool about this is the mid-range on guitars is what you're selling. So here's without the mid-range emphasized. Here's with it emphasized. My favorite tool for that is an API 150. The Waves one is great, UAD is great, and of course I have some real ones. Now let's get to what we are all here for. Here's Ozone 5. This is just the one section of Ozone 5. This is the stereo imager. Now, we can divide this into 4 bands. There's a lot of imagers that work really well. This is one of my favorites. So we're not going to really do anything here. Let me show you what I've got. Pay attention to band 3, this green one. That's this frequency range from 1.2 to 5.3. Here's the frequencies below it. Here's the frequencies above it. Now, when I push this fader up, it's going to widen just this frequency that we soloed originally. So watch this. Without it, with it. Now, we could have just as easily done this one. Not as dramatic. Let's try this one. Here's what it is wide. Straight up and down, wide. Hard to tell what it's doing, but let's exaggerate and see what happens. All the energy is in this frequency right here. I want you to hear that frequency again because that's where the imagery is. That's where the heart of that sound resides. That's all you need to work with, guys. Let me spread that again. That's pretty cool. Next time.
Last week we had a chance to snare a true pioneer in the EDM space. Dave, I mean, how much did we enjoy that time with Luca?
Man, he's a special cat on every level.
Every single level.
The only thing I didn't like about him is he does so many things better than me. I thought I could get one in better than him, but nah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. His resume: Skrillex, Diplo, Tiesto, Bruno Mars, 2 Chainz, Bloody Beetroot, Snoop Lion, Major Lazer, much, much more. He produces, mixes, masters, remixes. A bona fide trailblazer. It is literally our pleasure. We want you to meet Luca Pretolesi.
Luca.
Today we are extraordinarily honored. We have managed, through some friends of ours, to really gather an EDM trailblazer and invite him to our desk. Luca Pretolesi is somebody, if you're into EDM, you know. If you're not, you need to know.
And you've heard him even if you're not.
And you've definitely heard his music. We are honored to welcome you, bro.
Good to see you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
DP, fire away, sir.
Ciao.
No one else has been on our show has the perspective you have towards mixing because you're also a DJ, you're a great mixer, great mastering engineer, and you produce, and you do cars and lawns on the side in Vegas. So what's the difference in your approach and your concept behind mixing like a regular song or for the radio or a dance song?
Well, when I have the luxury to do both, usually like to start from the EDM version, so the extended version, the club version. And then I try to make, in the same way you arrange like a radio cut of a song, kind of like a radio cut of the mix. So long automations on extended versions, work on dynamics in a very like long organic way to create like kind of like dramatic changes between drops and breakdowns, and something that on a club mix makes more sense than a radio. Radio is more in your face, starting first minutes. We have 3 minutes and 35 seconds, 30 seconds, and everything's gonna happen really quick. As far as the extended, we wanna create, we wanna keep the tension of the track. On purpose, usually I try to run like I'm mastering when I'm like 70, 80% on the mix. On purpose, I wanna see what kind of energy I wanna bring to the track. So the radio is definitely more in your face, like start the first minute till the end. Extend is just like a journey as far as dynamics, as far as automation. I like to write manually a lot, just to give this like movement on the track.
On Reincarnated, the Snoop Lion record, you mix it.
Yeah.
I think you mixed about 10 songs on that record,
Yeah,
almost
pretty
all
much.
of it.
Yeah.
What did you do differently with that than you would, like, say, a Steve Aoki record or the Bruno Mars record?
But the Diplo has like this idea that he pitched to Snoop to have an EDM mixer mix like a reggae record by a hip hop artist, produced by Diplo, and so it's kind of like create this color.
And reggae.
A reggae record recorded in Jamaica, an amazing studio. Great recording, beautiful Neve mixer. They record a lot of stuff on the old Bob Marley studio. So for me, received this like 120 track per song was something new, honestly. So I have to really, I use kind of like my style of my technique to kind of like bust things together and just try to, the approach was like groups instead of like multiple tracks. Something that probably, Dave, you have you have experience every day on this to deal with dry files. So,
but so hard.
My approach was really to treat this as a group. So I was trying to keep the integrity of the tracks. There's amazing snare recorded in a big room. It's like a big reverb. It was literally like a snare. Let's walk in the room and just record it. So I want to make sure, I want to keep the integrity of those. But as far as the kick drum, I want my kick to punch the way cut through an EDM mix. So
did you use samples?
I did not use sample. I replaced a couple of kicks. So, and Diplo was like, the kick sounds great. We did a kick. Change it. It's a new kick.
That's the greatest. That's the greatest sentence an engineer can hear.
It was awesome.
Did you do the classic engineer? I didn't do anything. That's your sound, man. You're great.
But what I did, I tuned the kick. I make a long little tail on the verse. I work a little bit on dynamic. What I did as far as like keep the EDM style of mixing was really to have a side chains, a lot of side chain between kick and bass, and I have this beautiful brass to the tracks that kind of like move side chain with a kick. Even if it was like 80 BPM track or something like that, there's like this movement that is typical to EDM.
I'm an amateur side chainer. I usually use mostly Renaissance compressor, the plug-in.
It's pretty good.
Is that what you use?
Case by case. Sometimes because I deal with stuff that is over compressed already, I'm really worried. I want to make sure that if I want to do a sidechain effect, I probably do automations or use like a Magic Steve Duda tool. But if I want to like over compress, Renaissance is fine.
Automation? You mean like you literally pull the kick down every time the bass down every time the kick hits?
Yeah, if I do parts of groups and I just do I just the automation. I sign or just again like a sidechain compressor very light plus another sidechain that's designed on automation, so I combine things.
Your workflow, your space. Are you using an external mixer, or are you mixing it?
Yeah, I mix on an SSL Matrix right now. The Matrix to me, it's like it's a good tool for me because I kind of like I control my DAW, so a lot of ends on the faders, and then I push and have my 24 summing back on the SSL. Not necessarily to have a tone that the Matrix is not like a 4000, 9000. It's not like to have that tone, but to have the flexibility for me to insert my analog gear on the channels and be able to save and recall. So right now I mix on an SSL Matrix for a couple of years.
Is it easy? Does it make it easier or harder for you to be the same person that mixes and masters?
It's very unique, especially in EDM. So sometimes I deal with producers that send me like 6 stems. That's it. Do something. So what I do is kind of like an hybrid between a mastering and a mix, I believe. But when I deal with a big mixes, what I like to do, it's easier for me to actually master my stuff, because mastering, it's literally the last step of my mix in my case. So I do my stereo bus work. I spend sometimes hours just on a stereo bus, make sure that it's there, the starting point is there. So treat the low end in a proper way. And then try to be gentle on individual parts. Now, when I'm 50% of the song, I just want to look my dynamic range. So I look my meter, and I start to do a little bit of mastering, very light. And then I bypass my mastering, keep mixing, and I open again. So mastering my mix is actually easier for me. Okay. Sometimes it's harder to just do, sometimes I do stem mastering for other producers. It's almost like try to fix things. That's kind of like a little bit annoying to try to fix things, but mix and mastering at the end of my chain is actually fun.
Some people might not know what stems are, so let's go over that real quick.
Right.
In my world, like I would get like all the drums on a stereo track. We would call that a stem. I'd get all the vocals, or maybe the lead on a stem by itself, then backgrounds, and then like that. Is that what you're getting when you say stems?
Correct. The difference is on EDM specifically, the big chords sometimes are a group of like 5 individual synths. They create one sound, that's a stem. Sometimes there is a reverb, it's actually part of the sound. To me, it's like arrangement. So there's a reverb followed by the compressor, the sidechains, the reverb. The sidechain is an entire group of, let's say a color. Let's call it like this is like a red sound. The red sound is made by all these individual files. So the stem is the result of that, which is like typical in the pop world, like you say, it's a group of stuff. But in our case, it really can change the groove of the track. So sometimes it's actually essential to have a stem, because I can't guess the idea of the producer as far as the layering. The layering is like a result, is like one sound.
One of the things I kind of feel sorry for you about is if I mix a 3-minute song, 3.5-minute song, and I got one vocal, one drum kit throughout, it takes me a day. But man, you add 3 more vocalists, you add 5 different drum kits, plus another 3 minutes to the song. Now I got a 6-minute song. People don't understand how much longer that takes.
What about the 1 minute and 30-second intro, 1 minute 30-second outro, with just a kick and a hi-hat? That's how we're gonna deal with that. But I tell you something that I notice now, we start to get shorter. We start to go more like a pop arrangement, still a little bit longer, but still like 32 bars intro, 32 bars outro for each to mix. Like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, was a little bit like one of those situations, 8 minutes song and like 2 minutes build up.
Well, back then a DJ needed like 64 bars just to get the timing right, so he could, in his headphones, so he could slide it into the mix.
Now it's all out to sync.
So it's a lot easier. This is a silly question, so laugh and don't answer it or answer it, but do you ever like try to mix it at concert levels with the lights and all that just to get the vibe?
Not really, but very close, because what we did sometimes, I know it sounds probably funny, we play very loud, we go outside of the room, and we just listen like in a way that you listen like a song when you get into the club and you are like on the entrance. Try to have that kind of feel, reverb in the room. And so sometimes like we look like weird people that stay like this, close to the door, outside. Listen how we feel in this way.
Love that.
One thing is the vibe in the room, I think, is essential. We like, for example, one thing that I do a lot is like take the lights down for a bit and then up and then walk for a second, come back, play loud for like 2-3 minutes, and then play low and change speakers.
That wasn't that bad a question.
No, and I think and one thing about dance music that can be frustrating, and especially for our ears, is frequency. So we have like the 40 to like 150, 200, like for 4 minutes like this constantly. So it's not easy. And for example, I felt that lately specifically, I like to do a mix, start the mix during the day, and even if I'm done by the end of the day, I want to pull the plug, just chill, relax, come back the next day, and just say, okay, let's play low and just feel it, because I feel at the end of the day, you're physically tired.
You get exhausted.
You get exhausted, for sure.
Absolutely.
Why do you think it took so long for for dance music, it kind of started here, then it went to Chicago, then it went to Europe. The garage band guys got it a little bit, and not garage band, but garage music guys got it. And why did it take so long to kind of come back here in a mainstream way? Because you were doing, 20 years ago, you had like a #1 dance hit on European MTV.
Thank you, yeah.
I think you call it Italo?
That was Italo Disco.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, I started extremely young, and I have the luxury to be in a country where dance music was like top 40 back then.
Well,
so
why do you think it's not that way here now that you've been here so many years?
It was like it was strange, because one thing is, I tell you what I felt. I felt there was a moment to say, oh, now he's gonna blow up, and there was a moment, and it was about one record, and then no, that was a record, not the actual style, and then another one. What I felt, it was internet for sure. I mean, I believe that thanks to internet, thanks to video, YouTube, be able to see, oh, look what's going on in Ibiza. Wow, look this summer what it just did. Look like sensation, big festival in Europe. So it's kind of like, I think like speed up the process. And also, I believe, I want to give credit to pop music, like Black Eyed Peas and other records. They really embrace dance music, and they take dance music to a commercial level. Rihanna. So other big producers, they really understand it, and it kind of like commercialized. That a lot of my people, they felt it was like, oh, what they do? Like, they make dance music commercial?
Sure.
Yes, sure. Like, they make, I think, accessible and just bring to the radio. And then we create layers. I think, like, similar to hip-hop, dance music now is very deep. So we go from, like, dance pop song to deep house to trap music, dubstep. So we create, like, a big, like, family. And all these subgenres now, they're growing and have like a following.
And I think that I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think that in some ways, as it's today's rock and roll for a certain generation of people, I think some of the rebellion and some of the idea of keeping it its own democracy, its own life force, is critical to its survival. I think you put it in a box where corporations are saying this works at this station and this doesn't work, and you start to bastardize that. And I think it's so much healthier because of that. And you seeing it from the beginning, it's funny looking at your credits. You can't get through the big names of his credits. Like, my iPad ran out of scroll. Like, I was just.
I think he slowed the internet down a little bit when I was looking at it.
But what's fascinating to me, who loves the business side of it, is the business folks. You know, you can't help but keep the people away who make it bigger.
Right.
But I think that they're conforming to EDM rules as much as they recognize you can't come in here and try to make this, that you better come in and respect it and move forward. Is that fair to say? Is that your observation?
It's right on point. I mean, exactly what happened. And I think there's also this level of maturity, I feel, that in America really the scene benefit that. It's after 20 years. So we made a lot of mistakes in Europe in the early 90s because it's like, okay, we do it in our own way, and that's like for us, you know, techno or house music, and that's what we do, take it or, you know, we don't care. No, I think maturity after 20 years, we understand. So we say, okay, dance music, it's gonna open up, and then that's why there's a lot of, I was talking with you, Dave, like before about this, there's a lot of like pop song right now that really say, wow, check, like a snare, like actually I mixed the snare this way on my song, you know, on my electro song, like I like to hear this.
I told you, I ripped it off a lot.
Well,
so that's pretty cool.
I'll tell you what else we noticed from people who sit in your seat. One is an enormous amount of respect for it. Two, seems to be, particularly from the songwriters, this notion that as songwriting becomes more and more important in the EDM space for certain kinds of things, that evolves it. But I also think that what's so cool about it is that you figured out in the internet age where the end product of recorded music has sometimes lost value because people can find it free, EDM has figured out a monetization model that just kicks ass.
That's insane.
Right? It is about live music. It's about being there. The audience is as much a part of the show as everything else. There's a culture to it.
Absolutely.
They find it, and I have an EDMer in my home, and we might as well just not talk about other music. But what's fascinating about watching her is the level and degree that it's passionate for her comes with a commitment to it that is the same way when we came up, and certainly the way you came up, and that doesn't come from something that's passing.
It's very true.
Right? Is that fair?
It's
very amazing to watch as a businessman.
And it's one great sign to me. There's like a development of this. So EDM is not one sound, one season.
Love that.
And then done. No, there's a constant evolution, you know. And right now, for example, we're going back to touch like the late '80s house music again. So there's again this circle of things. So I think the style is very healthy. Like the old scene is very healthy.
And it doesn't run out of gas.
No.
That's the other thing. Like, you know, we've come through a few genres and we've come through a few cycles, and you might get a decade and it gets a little stale. Yeah. There is no cap to this at all. Not for a minute, correct?
I totally agree. Like, and also one thing is really support is the club scene. Like the festival club scene is unreal right now. And I live in Las Vegas, where like really I feel it. So when there's an EDC in my town, we were like 300,000 people in 3 days. And this, like, I think like it's also a way to, also for producers, to kind of like get a feedback or really what's going on in the scene, you know? And so I think the club scene being so big, worldwide, really helped everything.
I've got a little different take on this than you guys.
Okay.
30 years ago, I'd go to a club in Atlanta called Confetti's. And man, I'd hear something and I'd go, this is the greatest song I've ever heard. Then at noon, bright sunlight, I'd call one of my buddies with a Dixie Dance Kings record pool, and I'd find the song, I'd put it on, and it just did not sound right in daylight. And I think that's the problem that got solved. Guys like Aoki and those guys, Getta, of course, were actually, like Herb said, the Getta song with Kelly Rowland. Right. That was a huge, huge thing.
Huge song.
Like America would always accept one or two dance songs a year, but until the dance world started actually writing songs instead of beats for live music.
Absolutely.
For live festivals, I think that's what did it. And I like the way the balance is now. It's just perfect. It's not too pop. No. It's not too festival oriented. It gives you a way to take the festival home and listen to the festival the next day in the damn daylight.
And respectfully to where we live and to our audiences all over the place, it wasn't about what America thought.
Right.
This is a global phenomena that lived despite what Americans thought or didn't think, and we're going to conform to it because those festivals around the world are massive.
Ibiza, or Ibiza to you Americans, was a big influence on on how all those vacationers came back.
So as you see it today, well, here's actually the most important question of the whole interview.
I don't think so.
Well, watch and see. Because Dave and I want to come up to EDC,
right?
We have to make sure we can contact you so you can get us backstage VIP shows.
We'll be like the guy, like of course.
Cool, man, cool. But all right, so you've watched it, you've been in it. I mean, literally, your credits are insane. Where do you see it going? What's the evolution? Where?
I think it goes like on quality, on production quality. So I think as far as the capacity of this festival, I mean, we reach a level that how you can fit more than 100,000 people together. At that point, there's like some security issues, like it's too big. So that's fine. I think like the quality, production quality. So visual, sounds, lights, the actual show. That's kind of like. But we have other shows like Tomorrowland in Europe that it's out of this world. I mean, it's a moving. I mean, the good thing is, I think one direction now is find festival that really showcase the entire dance world, not just like the surface.
Yes.
So be able to go on a festival and go on a tent in a room with like 300-400 people and just hear like new sounds, something new. Yeah. But then also step on the main stage with like 50,000 people and have like the record of the moment. Exactly. So the festival, it's a way to experience and kind of like taste, have different tastes, different colors around dance music.
I've got a couple of questions for you about some songs. Right. You know I got a couple of questions. On the Major Lazer remix on the Bruno Mars song, Locked Out of Heaven, what kind of distortion did you have on that vocal?
That's a parallel. So first of all, I need to give credit to Diplo. Diplo is, I remember saying, are you okay if I distort like Bruno Mars' vocal? Sure. It's kind of like a big deal, right?
Right.
It's like, hey, go for it. So it's literally a parallel distortion, like a 20%, you know, on the vocal, just like on mono. The rest is stereo with nice movement, but there's like this parallel distortion going through pretty much the whole track, pushing a little bit more on certain parts, you know.
In the hook, those echoes that come in on the hooks, did you get that from my ITL, one of my ITL?
No, I got even more than that. I stole so many tricks from Dave.
You did it better than me. I want you to return it to me how you did it. Can you describe that real quick?
No, it's like I think like a 1600 milliseconds delay, compress, cut the low, just to get this movement. This like kind of like a open feel, but the challenge part was we had like a lot of like 150, 200 hertz, and on the overall track. So I was trying to. I don't want to be too loud. I just want to like give this little bit of movement on the track. And
yeah, you guys, man, please go listen to these songs we're talking about. I'm going to fly through this, and I want you to listen to these because Luke and I were talking last night. Whenever I get stumped for an idea, I always have gone to the dance world, whether it was Get the Party Started with Pink. You'll hear a lot of influences from that world from me because I think there's some creative stuff we can rip off in that world. And I say that respectfully. On the Morgan Page song featuring Michael's Against the World, how did you, this might be hard to explain, but how did you let that battle between the kick and the bass, how'd you solve that battle? You let the bass win, which was kind of cool.
I did.
And how'd you do that?
Right. First of all, the mix has something unique, which is 2 mixes. So one mix is the verse, another mix is the chorus.
Oh, okay.
2 mixes, put together. I tried a different way because Morgan had a really incredible riff. So his mix was really on point. But just the energy on the bass, on the chorus wasn't there. So I literally did 2 different mixes.
Wow.
And just
I wish you hadn't said that. I don't want to do 2 different mixes on the same song. I can barely get one done in a decade. It really and also
does technical.
It's huge.
Thanks, Dave. The one things I did on the second mix, which is the chorus part, it's a little bit of clipping with a UBK Fazzo that I like to use on my drum bass.
Yeah.
So I let it clip just a little bit, and I pull down just a bit and give this nice
what
tone.
What a great idea.
And also what I do, sometimes I do more and more now, I like to clip my master. Again, a dB and a half, like clipping. Mm-hmm. I don't want to over compress my old mix. I don't want to like find myself that for loudness purpose, I need to push my mastering. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I like to have a dB here, a dB there. I don't want to go crazy. One thing I noticed, especially on dance music, you get this perception that, wow, this track is very loud. But it's a perception, it's loud. But we want to have like depth. We want to hear the like different dimension of the track. Yeah. Morgan has an amazing on that track is an amazing vocal, great recording. So I don't want to like squash and just destroy what Morgan did. So it was like, that's why it came out with 2 mixes.
Did I say Against the World was the name of the song? I think I did.
Against the
World. On the Steve Aoki track with Winter Garden. That was nominated for a Grammy, by the way. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
About 53, 55 seconds into the song, the tempo cuts. What's the tempo, like 132?
Yeah, the track is 132, and what we call drop, it's F beat, so it's like a dubstep, even slower.
Okay.
Push, super loud, like or parallel on the snare, on the kick, and kind of like I like this like 2 different places, 2 different colors. So very pretty intro. Winter Garden, like front of the record, like front of the mic. Very dry, very intimate. So everything like open, not like pretty much nothing in the center beside the bass and kick, very open. And then when a drop hit, it just kind of like shake you, you know. And then it goes, like couple of dB dynamic range on the master, you know. Clipping on the snare, parallel on the kick.
Now, when you say clipping, are you talking about going past 0 a little bit?
Going past 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you guess, a dB that much?
Between 1 and 1.52 dBs clipping. And the clipping, it's a good clipping. I mean, it's not like a nasty digital clipping.
So describe the sound you're going for a little bit.
I go for like low mid frequency, kind of like warm and if I can design it like rounded, not square, but I don't want to lose the transient on the attack. So, and so that's why
it's a subtle thing. Right?
It's a subtle thing. Yeah, that's why parallel for me works. I don't really like compress now on the actual track. I like to parallel, and even if I compress on the track, like always like slow attack, fast release. I want to let my transient go through the mix.
Do you not compress anything below 300?
Pretty much nothing below 300. Zero.
That's kind of disappointing to hear. I've been doing it wrong.
Nothing below 300. Nope.
I thought I didn't hear it, but I wasn't sure.
No.
So why?
Again, I try to go sometimes opposite of like typical pop song or rock song. So I don't really care sometimes to have sound sit in top of this, in top of that. I don't want to have like my kick and everything kind of pretty. So that I want to have their own space. I want to have my kick and bass to have a own place on the mix. And then after that, then I want to glue a little bit together on the mid frequency. So like my 800 to like even like 1,000, 2,000. Then I like to glue things together. But I want to have my kick. There's an own space. Sometimes if I need a sidechain, everything to leave even a space. So. To me, the compression thing under 300, it just doesn't work. I feel it's just like, it makes everything kind of flat. It kind of like, we have so much going on the low ends that it's always a battle. So what I do first, before the compression, I make mono pretty much up to like 250, 300s.
Yeah, I do that too.
Right, very smooth. I don't want to go crazy, very smooth. So then I do another cut around like 30, 32 global on the stereo part.
Oh. I never thought about that.
So I do a cut around 32 on the stereo part, very sharp.
Oh, okay.
Very sharp, like a 48 dB, like this.
You're talking about sharp. Okay.
Sharp. And then I try to center. It's based on the keys. Sometimes I go a little bit lower than 32. Sometimes I go like 34. It's like I try to find, based on the key. And then I have my second cut that is just for the stereo. So I just go up to like 300, 350. And then I open a little bit of side, a little bit of stereo. But I don't like to open the side like 10K, 12K. I like to open the side like 5K, 7K. And actually like to like 10K, 12K, smooth little bit the side. And I feel that, and then I do some stuff on parallel. I don't want to go too technical, but I think I'm the right place to do it.
Absolutely. It's not here, it's not the place to go.
So that's something they ask me, like how I smooth the high frequency. And I like to run the entire mix parallel with like a Makj, the EQ4. And like just push this like 40K. There's pretty much like.
Did you say Makj? It's Makj, I think.
The Makj.
Yeah, Cliff
Sorry.
Makj. Yeah,
Yes.
He's one of our favorites.
Amazing.
So you put that on the stereo?
I put on my final, like when I go back to my stereo bus, I parallel the entire mix of that, and then I compress, and then I compress just the high, so like 10K and up. Just compress that, fast attack, slow release. I just want to keep my frequency there. I don't want to have my frequency moving too much because we're sometimes now we're mastering tracks with like 3 dB dynamic range, like crazy, 4 dB dynamic range. So I want my high frequency to really be there, gentle, don't move too much, just stay there.
Can I do an ITL on that?
Love to.
That'll be great.
It'll be an honor. More than
now
that.
that I got a pro here, do you sidechain the bass in a dubstep? You don't, do you?
No.
Okay,
not much.
good. Because I didn't like the sound of sidechaining a dubstep bass.
It takes away a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of energy, sir,
Yes,
let's get your batter's box questions up.
I'm predicting a big loss for me today.
I am too, actually. I am
Broncos
too.
style.
So let's roll batter's box and hit some out of the park.
808.
No compression under 300.
Snare.
Parallel clipping.
Ooh.
Nice.
Stereo bus.
Back CQ, clipping, and the Fatso, UBK Fatso on parallel.
Wow.
God, that guy's good.
Man.
Pads.
Pads, I really like. There's a lot of stuff that I like, but usually what I like to do, I like to use 2 EQ, one more surgical, so another one more color. I like a lot of UAD stuff. They're great for that.
Okay, I got another question, but I'll save that. Sub.
cut very sharp at 32 hertz.
Okay. Let's see, where am I here? Hi-hats.
Hi-hats, sometimes nothing.
Okay. Vocals.
1176 on parallel, and a little bit of distortion, talk about 10%, 5%, just to give a little bit of meat, a little bit of color.
Bass. Synth bass.
Our bass.
Oh, cool. Reverb.
Oh my God, I love like the UAD MT. The
250.
Oh my God.
The one with the big knobs?
Yeah.
I have a real one.
Oh my God, so jealous right now. I love that. That and I to plus one things. That plus a parallel with stereo and open even more, just give a little bit more space because I feel like you get a little bit narrow.
Your island plug-in. If you were on an island and you could only have one plug-in, what would it be?
Oh, okay. If it's a plugin, I'll say, because I will say the hardware version, but because it's a plugin, I say the FUDs, the UAD FUDs. It's kind of like my tools.
Your favorite piece of outboard gear under $500?
Ooh. I tell you.
I'll take $525.
$525? I say probably my Avaton speakers, the little speaker.
The yellow ones?
Yeah, the yellow one.
Okay.
Right now.
I told you I was going to get creamed. I knew it coming
it's
in.
Alex Rodriguez pre-investigation.
I knew it coming in. Man, he just knows his stuff.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let's see if our guy Chongor is over there in the corner office. Chongor, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. How's it going?
How you doing?
Doing really good. We got some good questions today.
Yeah, we'll fire a few away.
This first was from Kevin Ryder. In Makj's Revolution, how did you get the lead bass line so defined and in your face? Was that something multiband compression helped you achieve?
Well, actually, yes. Absolutely, it's multiband compression. Fan of this Fab Filter multiband compression, the new one. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So that's one, and also give credit to Makj. Did an amazing job on the production, actually, on the sound. It was pretty good.
Another one, Chongor.
John Belusto. How do you ensure mono compatibility while getting your mixes so wide?
Oh my God, I cannot talk for like an hour about this. I mean, that's so important. There is one important, actually, thanks for this question. So nightclub environment is not really a stereo placement of speakers. We talk about, like Access the Win, and we have this like 4,000 people capacity room that we have like 300 people stay close to one speaker. How you can deal with like to be in the studio, try to mix a track. So mono is very important. One thing for sure, that actually here on the show, Showtech mentioned the same, that I do all the time is to always keep the same source right in the center as far as bass, main lead, to make sure that is there right in the center. You can go crazy, open, do whatever, but make sure that one source is there. That when you push your mono, is there in the same level with the same energy.
Wow.
So you're monitoring in mono.
I do a lot. I always like compare mono, and I make sure if I have an important lead send, even if it's not there on the stems, I want to create my own by parallel that is right in the center to make sure I cover the center.
On the high end on your basses, do you like those wide or like the buzzy high end, or do you keep those more mono?
For example, on dubstep, it's actually pretty cool. I do like sample delay where I just double the sound, cut my track, move one track up, in one part I just do like the last bar of 4 bars, for example, just open completely in stereo, and then just go back on mono.
Wow.
Chongor, two more.
Jordan Pollock. The reverb in your mixes fits so well. What are some techniques that you use to keep the reverb present but not cluttered in the mix?
I learned a lot from Dave. And I tell you what, no, I'm seriously. EQ, and especially on vocals that I do, and it really changed a lot on my workflow. So I have this pretty voice, and then I have this reverb that kind of like push the vocal down. So I cut like, let's say 1K, 2K of the reverb, and just have the reverb just go around the vocal. Just vocal in the center, just reverb just kind of like, just go around. I don't want to just push the reverb and the vocal, and then I have to push the vocal again because it's not cutting through the mix. So
thanks so much.
Yeah.
One more, Chongor.
Ryan West. What are the first elements you bring up in your mix? And if you have 2 basses, a sub bass and a mid bass, which one will you bring up first?
Sub bass and kick. So usually my order is after I do my good hour work on my stereo bus, make sure that I feel good about the stereo bus, and then a kick and sub bass, and then from there I start to add in all the drums.
So you always start your mix into the effects on the stereo
on
bus?
the stereo bus,
Okay.
like 90% of the time. And it usually, because I receive stuff that's already mixed or like pre-mixed in some way, so I want to see, I feel there's something to do on a stereo bus. I don't like to start to push high frequency everywhere individual channel when I just go on a stereo bus and just make, like, especially with the back EQ, you know, little bit of, you know, high and top end, and so I like to start with a stereo bus first.
And this has been an absolute pleasure for me.
Listen, one last question, and guys, just go and look up his credits. I mean, it's Skrillex, it's Diplo,
Don't
it's
do it at the
Tiesto,
same time. The
Bruno
internet will
Mars.
shut down.
Yeah, the internet will shut down if you do it all at the same time.
A through M go in 2 hours, and then N through Z go later on tonight.
Exactly. So first of all, we're honored that you're here.
Yeah,
we've been wanting you for
Likewise,
a minute.
it's like an honor to be with you guys.
We're so
got up
honored.
early.
He flew down here last minute.
It's fantastic to be here.
We were talking off camera about our notion about the award show. Give us your take about the idea.
Guys, I mean, this is like, as part of this industry, I honestly feel, why now? That's like 10 years ago, you know? So this is something incredible. And I mean, that's my full support, and I believe that all the dance world, the EDM world, really gonna embrace this. I mean, that's something really cool. There is more and more, I find, like, new producer, new mixer, they're EDM producer, mixer, they're very deep, and they really love this, you know, the audio world in general. And I feel this is really, it's just the right time. It's pretty amazing what you guys doing. And congratulations.
No. We would love to have you on our pro committees to make sure that we're doing it the right way.
I'll be there.
Oh, man.
That's amazing.
I don't know what else to say other than take us home, man.
Okay. Guys, what a pleasure sitting and talking with Luca. I learned something today from him. Every time I listen to one of his records, I learn something from him. He's so talented on so many levels, and someone that you need to kind of dissect his work a little farther than we have today. I think it'll help you in terms of furthering your career. And not just that, but the entire EDM space is always good for some ideas and inspiration. We'll see you next week.